All right, welcome back to MH Blackwell. It's your boy, Mr. Blackwell. In this video, we are going to talk about reactions to the Democratic National Convention from Black conservatives. But the response to Black conservatives by leftists, to me, people that consider themselves to be on the left, is more surprising than the other way around. And in fact, I think that we are making very, very big mistakes by not listening to people like conservative Black Republicans, because it only weakens the point of view that we have if we don't actually listen and understand what they have to say. And that is something that has taken place in a it's almost ubiquitous at this point in time within the people that I would typically align myself with politically. Now, for those that don't know, I am a political science major in undergrad. I went to law school. I worked for the government, worked for different campaigns, state, local, the state level, the local level. Involved in sales in the government, fairly familiar with the bureaucracy of the United States of America, both from an educational standpoint and an experiential standpoint. And I'm telling you, man, that it just doesn't make sense to just brush off people with ad hominem attacks and just very dismissive of entire conversations, as if two people can't look at the same thing and come up with different conclusions and have different viewpoints. It's that debate that goes on between two different sides that wind up, that the purpose of which is to empower each other with new information, and both people can walk away in a better position. I was listening specifically to a YouTube channel who I have to tell you I do like, I do respect. I wouldn't mention him or talk about him if it wasn't somebody that I really thought was, man, what a very, very bright guy, very professional. The channel goes by the name of FD Signifier. If you guys have heard of him before or subscribed to him, he's a fairly big channel. I don't have any problem whatsoever with the channel himself or his personal viewpoints on the world. What I will say, though, is that I do think that his conversation or video about Black Republicans engaged in some of the same troublesome conversations and points of view that I hear consistently. And I think that mature individuals should be above. And that's ad hominem attacks and really like appeal to things that are not really related to the subject matter and the standpoints and the viewpoints that individual people have. Specifically, he said something about in the beginning of this video, and I'm telling you, very, very rarely do people ever get past the statements that he made in the beginning of the video. And I don't mean they don't get it past and watch the rest of his videos. I mean that once somebody has that vision in their mind that I'm going to describe, it's very hard for anybody to take the person that you're talking about seriously. And honestly, it is, in my opinion, well, it could be considered a type of gaslighting of those individuals. Now, what do I mean specifically? Mentioning Black conservatives as addressing how you know the difference between Black conservatives and more left-leaning Black people that really represent the culture is the fade. You can look at Thomas Sowell, for example, the famous conservative, Black conservative economist. You can look at him and tell that he hasn't had a Black barber in 50 years. You can look at the terrible taper fade on Herschel Walker's hair, right? That right there, it's jokes and all of that, but really it doesn't address at all the viewpoints that these people have. And if their viewpoints and if their politics are that bad, you shouldn't have to talk about the fades. You should be able to go right for the jugular on those particular topics, what they actually believe, and discuss what they actually believe and why that's bad, instead of moving to tactic number 2, which is to just say that they're irrelevant and that their impact is exaggerated, and most people don't know who these people are in the Black community unless somebody in the Black community that is known even mentions them. So they're really irrelevant and outside of our community. Well, you could say that about 99% of Black liberals, that nobody knows who they are or what they have to say or what they think. You can say that about most people. That does not mean that their solution to the problems that we both recognize are there are not valid. And if they're not valid, why are they not valid? Getting into a big, long exchange about ideology and the labels that we put on people, with it, whether they are pronouns that people may disagree with or whether they're political affiliations. It's very difficult to call somebody a left or right or conservative. Like how conservative, how liberal are they? Which I have to say, this particular person did a magnificent job, in my opinion, of explaining when it suited the argument, which was that there really are no liberal Democrats right now. There really are leftist liberals or leftist Democrats. There are no really leftist Republicans. They're both right. When you compare it to what this particular person's ideology is, which is, I personally am very sympathetic to, which is socialism. Socialism is left, right? Leftist. But capitalism, as opposed to socialism, is on the right. So he boxed everybody that was capitalist, and not people that engage in it, but people that believe in it in a philosophical sense or in a political sense, that they really believe in the effectiveness of it, which is differentiated from somebody that doubts the effectiveness of it, but yet lives in the reality of it. Right. So we all live in a capitalist world, period. Whether or not we have certain socialist leanings is something else. But he is very correct, and I believe in, and I agree, in moving all of that over to the right, which really means your Democrats that you have voting are also are right-leaning Democrats. They're very pro-corporation. They're very pro-imperialism. They're they don't fight very hard against the things that they purport not to believe in when it comes to international issues, when it comes to anyway, you get my point. So I just have an issue with the fact that we don't listen. One of my favorite commentators is on all things life is Neely Fuller Jr. And Neely Fuller Jr. is somebody that basically has said the same thing on multiple occasions, that you really have you have to try to overcome and you have to compensate for the system that we're in, and nobody knows the answer to it. Nobody knows the answer to it. Socialists have not solved the problem that Black people in America and other people of color and white people suffer from. They've not done that. They've not figured that out. Neither have capitalists. Neither have Black conservatives. So since nobody has come up with the problem, they come up with the solution to the problem, it makes sense, therefore, to treat everybody else as if they have some idea that may lead us there, instead of trying to do what the machine of Black politics is doing, which is tell us to continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. A change is needed, but a change ain't going to come if you don't listen to anybody that has something different to say, and make it personal about their haircuts, their clothing, or make it about how popular they are and how popular they're not. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out.